Communication. It's all about communication. And that's true when it comes to live streaming. It's true when you're just interacting with other people, but it's particularly true when you're working in a business or a corporate environment or a large organization. Communication is king. If you can't communicate with your fellow workers, fellow colleagues, or across your organization effectively and quickly, things can bog down in a hurry. So we're going to be talking about live video streaming inside of corporate networks, and specifically within Microsoft Office 365 and Microsoft Stream, which is now doing live events and live video streaming. So we're going to get into it. We've actually developed a product just for this use case, and we're going to cover it on today's show. So welcome to another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm your host. I will see you after the credits, and thanks for joining us. I'm excited to get into this today. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back to another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and each week at this time on Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and occasionally we are live on Periscope and Twitter. Please leave a comment, say hi, tell us where you're streaming or watching this video. I'd love to know where you're at, and please feel free to share this out if you are joining us. Whether you're watching this later or watching it live, welcome and thanks for tuning in. If you want to get news on other episodes and what we're going to be streaming each week, we pick different topics and we bring on experts in their field to discuss all kinds of things related to live video and live streaming, because that's what we do here at Wirecast and Telestream. And it is a fun show. We've actually, we're getting closer to our 100th episode, so we're going to have to plan something big and special for that. But it's been a fun run. If you want to watch the past episodes, you can check out our archives. They're available on YouTube. They're also available on our Facebook, sort of unedited raw files. Now, you can sign up for our email list. It's at telestream.net/WirecastLive, and we'll send you an email letting you know what the upcoming guests and show topics are about, what we'll be discussing on this live show, and we encourage you to come join us and join the conversation. There's actually a lot of great experts who are commenting every time in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube in the chat, so you can join in there. And of course, we have a lot of great experts and guests that come on. So if you want to ask them questions, this is the place to come on and ask them your questions. So let me pull up the comments briefly while I do that. The other way to get notified about this show, of course, is to turn on your live notifications on Facebook and YouTube. So there's easy ways to for those social media platforms to notify you when we're live. And if we skip a show or we're not going to do a show that week, we will notify you as well. Usually send out an email and also post it on social media at Telestream Wirecast on Facebook and Wirecast on YouTube, as well as Wirecast on Twitter. Now, just a quick explanation there. We used to have it used to be called Wirecast Tube on YouTube, but I actually changed the name to Wirecast. So either one should work. You should be able to find Wirecast Tube or Wirecast, either one, and you'll be able to find the YouTube channel for us. Okay, and I see a few people joining us. Deb, welcome. Good to see you again. And I see Hyriton. How do you say that name? That's a great name. Hyriton Orgu from the Netherlands. Actually, IBC is going to be kicking off there shortly. We'll be out there with a big Telestream booth, so please feel free to stop by the RAI, the RAI Center, where all that action is going to be happening in downtown in downtown Amsterdam, so that should be fun. And then let's see who's joining us on YouTube. I'm going to pull up the chat here as well. Looks like we have Astronomy Live. Good to see you again. And Nairan Mishra, welcome. Okay, guys, so today's show, normally we pick a Stream of the Week winner. I don't have an official Stream of the Week winner, so if you guys get going on this, please let us know, hashtag where is Wirecast, tweet it out or send us one, and we will pick, each week we try to pick a winner. Now, what I am going to do is pull up a couple of our very cool sort of, I don't know, you could say celebrity streams or celebrity case studies. So if you actually go to the Telestream Wirecast, or sorry, the Telestream website at telestream.net, which I have here on my desktop, you can go down and look at sort of live streaming solutions or Facebook Live solutions. So let's click there. And you'll see a who's who of who's streaming with Wirecast. So just one of those cool things you may not know, but you can actually watch the Golden State Warriors, one of my very own favorite teams here in Northern California, and they do stream their post-game conferences with Wirecast. So we're very proud to have that. So that's what I'm going to pick for this week, but you can see we have some other people we may talk about. And I'll pull up some examples of some of those streams in future episodes, so that should be fun. Another little news item is don't forget to donate blood. I just gave blood today. We have a blood drive going on here at Telestream, so if you have never given blood or you've thought about it but you haven't done it, you should definitely do it. I recommend you give blood, save lives. It's a really important way. It's the only way that people, that medical institutions can get blood, is other people have to donate it. They can't synthesize blood. They can't make it pull it off the shelf. It has to come from other people. So make sure you give blood if you can, and I encourage you to do so. And if you can't, then there's always a million other ways to do some good in the world. So do that, and sometimes you get a cool T-shirt. So that's what I'm wearing today. Okay, so the topic for today is going to be all about corporate live streaming and Wirecast S. Now, many of you have asked us, what is Wirecast S and how does it work? So I thought we should do an episode on that since we do not have a live guest this week. So this seemed like a perfect time to talk about Wirecast S and how it's different from just your regular version of Wirecast, who most of you might be familiar with. So let's dive into a little demo here, and I'm going to show you how this works. So the first thing is, if you are curious about Wirecast S, you can go to telestream.net/Wirecast S. And that's actually just almost like the plural version of Wirecast, right? So it'll take you to this landing page where you can get a free trial. There's a 30-day free trial. There is a handy tutorial on how to use it, how it works, step by step. And there are there's a video, although this will be changing a little bit because it's the sort of, I'll talk about this a little bit, but the Microsoft platform that Wirecast S works with is changing, and there's a lot going on. So the videos will have to continue to come and get updated. Wirecast S, just like regular Wirecast, comes in two flavors, Studio and Pro. And it's a subscription, so it's not like a standard version where you buy it and you kind of own it. We do have sort of, once you own it, there's a very minimal fee with Wirecast to sort of resubscribe every year, but you do have to do a big upfront purchase to actually own the software. With Wirecast S, it's different. It's subscription from the get-go, and you have it and you can use it as long as you are currently subscribed. Now, the subscriptions have to be really in 1 year or 3 month chunks. So you can't just do month to month. There's no way to buy just 1 month of Wirecast S. So minimum is Wirecast is 3 months, but you do get 30 days for free and totally unlocked. Now, Wirecast S only works with Microsoft Office 365. So, and Microsoft Azure. It's built specifically for that platform. It cannot stream to YouTube. It cannot stream to Facebook. It cannot stream to other RTMB destinations. It has to stream and can only stream to a Microsoft destination or to Office 365. Recently, Microsoft announced live streaming capabilities on Office 365. So this was a new addition. They've had Office 365 for some time. If you do not use Office 365, then Wirecast S is not going to be that useful for you. But many large organizations and even smaller ones use Office 365 a lot, and this would be the type of streaming application that you would need, because there's no app inside the Office suite that does live video production, right? So Wirecast fills that gap. And their product, Microsoft Stream, is kind of like a YouTube. It was originally designed sort of like YouTube for corporations or for Office 365. If you were on your network and all of your colleagues, your IT administrator had set you guys up with Office accounts, then you could upload videos, you could share them. This was how you could watch any past meetings or announcements or any videos that were shared inside of your corporate network. This is what Microsoft Stream originally did, but it didn't do live video until recently. Now it does, and you can also do live video in other collaboration apps like Teams and Yammer. So these are some really great collaboration tools. Teams is like almost like a Slack for your Office 365. It's allows you to chat and share files. It's really handy. It's kind of like a chat program. And Yammer is kind of like a bulletin board or sort of like a forum type tool. And both of these, it's very useful to be able to spin up a quick live stream inside of and share information or do an announcement or a demo or something like that. And then Stream is sort of what kind of handles all that on the back end. It's, again, very much similar to YouTube. So let's take a look at that real fast. So here is, past episodes, it can kind of do what was the most recent large live stream across your company. There's other demonstrations and things like that. So if you are, if you load videos on here, this is what sort of your company will see. And then there's channels and groups and all kinds of, information. Now, recently, Microsoft added the live event capability. So you can create a live stream right here. Now, most of you won't see this inside of Microsoft Stream unless your IT administrator turns this on for you. So if you use Office 365, make sure that you talk to your IT administrator and make sure you get access to live event streaming. All Microsoft Office 365 IT and administrators and admins have been sent emails from Microsoft letting them know that this capability is now in preview and it's available for them to turn on or off for their charges in the Microsoft Office 365 sort of environment. And it's not on by default at this time or the time of this filming. That may change. Microsoft may decide to turn it on for everybody as by default, but for now it's hidden unless your IT administrator gives you access to it. So once you get access to it, you can basically go to the Create button and click Create a Live Event. This is very similar to what you might have done on YouTube or on Facebook, but now it's within your corporate or Office 365 environment. So click Create Live Event, and then you'll see very similar to those other platforms that I mentioned. This is how you sort of create the details, and you can schedule it ahead of time. You can go live right away. So let me show you how this works. Obviously, you need to make sure you download and install Wirecast S at some point before you start streaming. Otherwise, you won't have any video to send. But let's just do, we're going to call this Andrew's Test Wirecast S Stream. And just going to copy and paste that for the description as well. And you can do hashtags. There's a way to tag your streams. Hashtag Wirecast S. Hashtag communication. So if there's certain, you want people to be able to find this through hashtags, that's a way to tag the stream. You can upload custom images here. You can also, choose the language that you'll be streaming in. And then there's the scheduling options. So you can choose a specific date and time and use the calendar tool to select when it's going to be live or when you're going to be going live. This will allow you to publish the event, very similar to YouTube or Facebook's publishing and scheduling capabilities, so that people in your network will be notified that you will be live at such and such a time, and this is the topic and here's the description. In our case, for today's purpose, we are not going to schedule ahead of time. We're going to go as soon as the encoder is connected. So go live now, right? So we'll go live now, and then you can click Save, which will save the event, save your details. And then there's the publish. So publish now is really who has permission, who is it shared with. So you can share with certain channels. If there's channels of information or groups of people that you need to share with, or you can share with certain people on your network. So nice thing about this, you can also choose whether to allow everyone in your company to view this video or only certain people, right? So it's up to you how you manage the permissions. That's one of the very nice things about the Microsoft Stream platform. It gives you a ton of control into sort of permission and access and communication, because not everyone, some video or some live streams may be sensitive or just relevant to a certain group of people and not to the wider entire corporate network. So make sure you select that. Finally, you can go into the options and you can allow comments. Again, you'll see a lot of this is very similar to live streaming platforms where you can edit these particular details. And then great, there's also an auto-generated caption file. So once the video's up, Microsoft will run their AI and machine learning on it and eventually generate captions automatically, which is great. And there will probably be additional features like allowing you to embed captions or to eventually, upload your own caption files and things like that. So let's save the details. We're good. Once everything's saved, we can publish it, and that will now it's now findable on the network. Now, what people will see is the title of the event, and they'll see a live event is starting soon, which is because I chose to go live as soon as the encoder is live. All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to choose your encoder. So, and this is where you will select Wirecast S from the dropdown. And you'll see Wirecast is also on this list. Wirecast works 10 or newer works just as well, but Wirecast S is what we're covering today. But you can use regular Wirecast as well if you want to stream to Office 365. And then some instructions will pop up, and then we're going to choose a Start Setup here. So once we choose Start Setup, it'll tell us that this is the live event is getting ready. This basically kind of spins up the RTMP servers, gets Microsoft Stream ready to listen for an incoming data event, and now we're ready to connect the encoder and start sending data. Now, here's the really easy part. All you have to do is actually, if you have Wirecast S on your system, is launch. Click this launch button, but you can also download it here if you haven't. There's download links and stuff. Just click launch encoder, and what's really cool is that will automatically open Wirecast S, and it's actually already passed the information from Microsoft to Wirecast S, and now Wirecast S knows exactly where it needs to send your information. Okay, so here's the days left in trial. I actually have 21 out of my 30 days. Quick start video, there's some links and things like that. You can also enter a serial number if you've purchased or whatever. And this is new. This is the auto template configuration. So because we assume that many corporate users may not be expert video producers or experts in Wirecast, we've created some easy to use templates that automatically populate sources inside of them. And we've built them for like a simple announcement. We built them for presentation or for a town hall. And I'll cover kind of the main differences, but just to give you a real quick preview, we'll look at each one. But for now, an announcement is just a camera and an audio or microphone. That's it. That's the only audio and video sources. It's just basically a camera and microphone. A presentation is a camera, a microphone, and a screen capture. So if you need to bring in a slide presentation or a PowerPoint deck or something like that, then presentation is what you'd use there. And then town hall is more of a fancy, full-featured live stream. Assuming your CEO or somebody needs to give a presentation or a large talk, they may want a lower third with their name and their title. They may want to also have a screen capture source. They may want to have a camera, maybe 2 or 3. So there's a bunch of different things. That's if maybe the whole company's watching. So let's start with the really simple one. We're going to start with the announcement and click next. And we can actually have this box here that automatically starts streaming as soon as we're live or not. That's really up to us. But we're going to, for now, leave it unchecked. We're going to jump in there. And then once we've picked the announcement template, that basically gives us a list of sources we should choose from. And for now, I'm just going to choose my XI100, my Magewell capture card. And for my source, I'm going to also choose the capture card. So my audio should be coming through the camera. So now my audio and video are basically going right through that camera and into that capture card. And that's it. I choose camera, a microphone. Again, if you still want it to automatically start streaming, you're good. And now we are live, and you can see that actually by default, Wirecast S tries to make it really easy. Everything's already in the live output window. You see that auto live is turned on, so I can clear, I can go live. That's totally my call, and whatever I click on is automatically going to happen. And then my microphone is working. So it's time to just click stream up in the corner. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to go open my output settings or anything, because when I clicked launch, all that got passed already. So we just start streaming, and it will connect to the Microsoft Stream event. So there we go. You can see it's connected. It started streaming. We've got our bitrate going. Everything's good. Let's go back and check on Microsoft. Now that launch URL launched a new tab in my browser. It also launched Wirecast S, but we're good. And then we can see the preview. There's a notification here saying that you're ready to go live. We're receiving data from Wirecast S, and your audience won't see anything until you click Start Event. So you can hit OK and wait and say, OK, everything's looking good there. And then whenever you're ready, you just click Start Event. And then it'll spin up, and we should be going. So that is the most basic sort of quick workflow using the simplest template inside of Wirecast S. Again, we went to our Microsoft Stream account. We set up the event ahead of time. We then click configure or setup event. And then we launched Wirecast S from within Chrome, and which launched Wirecast S. And then we configured our sources. Boom, we started streaming. And now we are live on our network, and anyone we shared with inside of Office 365 can see and hear me right now. So I'm going to end this event. I'll take some questions from you guys, and then we'll look at the other templates and make sure that you guys, this is all making sense. Okay, so end event. And here we go. It also notifies you that once it's ended, you can't restart an event. So they're pretty good, pretty communicative. They tell you what happens before an event, who can see it, and what can happen after the event, which I like a lot about that. So let's check in on you guys and see if you have any questions about that stuff. Okay, so I'm seeing Greg, the ability to start Wirecast from within the portal and have it start, etc., is nice, very nice. It would be cool if that would make its way into other platforms. Okay, I like that. Good feedback. So I wonder, it's really, it's going to be platform dependent. So it depends on whether or not the developer, the original platform developer, is willing to enable that feature. Most platforms don't have it, but because this is a custom integration and a partnership with Microsoft, that was a really cool feature we were able to implement with them specifically. So, but I will pass that along. Moving on, let's see on the YouTube chat. I'm not sure if I have you guys, all the chat here, but let's just make sure everybody's chatting. Greg, looks like you're on both YouTube and Facebook. Good on you. Be nice if Apple did live streaming. I guess it would be with their podcasting. For some reason, I'm getting a pretty... Okay, there we go. That's going to be a little easier. Here we go. Excited about Wirecast 10, but I can't get my Universal Audio Apollo Twin Duo to work with Wirecast. Interesting. So Universal Audio Apollo Twin Duo, I'm not familiar with that device. Definitely ask about that in the forum or contact our sales or support teams. They may be able to look into it. Maybe ask our developers why or why not. It's always nice, actually, if we can talk to the manufacturer and have them send us a device that we can try. So maybe we'll have to reach out to them if there's more issues. It used to work perfectly before the upgrade. That is interesting. So not quite sure why that is the case. But it would be interesting to investigate. Let's go back to our Facebook folks and make sure that I've answered questions there. I see from replying to Greg. Hey, Hussein from Kenya, welcome. Thanks for watching. Ryan from Trinidad, welcome. Excited for today's show. Do you, hey guys, I'd be curious, do you use Office 365? Does your company or organization use Office 365? say yes in the chat, or leave a quick comment. Yes, we use Office 365 or Microsoft Stream. Be very curious to see if those of you out there use that particular set of cloud tools. I know that another popular set of tools online is Office collaboration tools are obviously the Google Suite. And then there's OpenOffice and LibreOffice. So some people use those tools. But I'd be curious to see how many of your companies use Office 365 and the Microsoft environment. That would be interesting. Okay, so let's dive in. If you have other questions, feel free, leave them in the chat in Facebook or YouTube, and I'll come back to those. You can also leave comments below if you're watching this later, and we'll try to keep an eye on these and answer your questions as we go. So let's now jump back into Wirecast S and Office 365, and we are going to look at the other templates and maybe do another event setup here. So let's jump back, and let's say I want to create a town hall. So I'm going to go and create a live event town hall. And give me a second. Wait for this to happen here. Give it a refresh here. Maybe I just need to save the event once it's over. That might be a thing I need to have. That needs to happen here. Interesting. I'm going to refresh, and we'll just go back to our stream page. There we go. Let's go to create. All right, there we go. We got a brand new create view. We're going to call this town hall. Well, why don't we look at presentation, just so we cover all three. And this could be a demo. You could call it like a, a presentation could be more than just slides. It could be your demo, you could be demoing software like I'm doing here. You may want to show your screen and talk to your colleagues about how to do something, right? Similar to what we're doing here. Presentation. And again, we'll just skip through all this. We're going to jump to as soon as Encoder is connected, and we're going to we're good. So the rest of it, I'm just going to do save. I can do a publish now if I want. One cool thing is that I believe publishing can occur after the fact. You may not need to publish prior to live streaming. I've not played around too much with the timing on when you might want to use the publish button, but I'm assuming it's independent of all the streaming and setup, because it seems to be very it's more dependent on the metadata and the sort of what you're publishing out there to the rest of the network for searchability and the rest of it. But it's, I think, entirely possible for you to do an entire setup, live stream, recording, and everything live, and then publish after it's all been recorded and saved, which is interesting. So that is a kind of a cool feature, I think, of the platform. So let's jump back to, we're going to again select Wirecast S. We're going to click Start Setup. You have to click Start Setup in order for this to work. If you have started streaming before the event is ready and set up on on Microsoft, then Wirecast S is not going to hit anything. There's nothing listening on the Microsoft side for the for Wirecast S to target, and so then it won't go. It won't work. So okay, we're ready. We're good. We're now just, again, we can do launch encoder. What this does is it passes that information, but even though I've already got Wirecast S open, which, by the way, I may need to stop streaming. Hold on. Let's just stop the stream. Let's go back to here, and we're going to go to open Wirecast S. Okay, so Wirecast S is already open, and this is cool. We've now got a notification that says the following output configuration was created. Untitled Microsoft Stream H.264 1280 by 720. That is basically your notification that the correct information came from Microsoft to Wirecast S, and a new output destination was configured, basically giving it that new RTMP address, because you need each one of those events you create is going to need to have a different RTMP address. So in theory, we could just pick up where we left off and start streaming. But what we want to do is we want to choose a new template. So we're going to go back and we're going to select the presentation template. Hit next. We're going to, so here's the presentation template, and let's talk a little bit about this. So the presentation template is a basically like we said, a screen capture, which will tell me what sources I have. I only have one screen at the moment. Whether you want audio, capture audio, and whether you want what camera source and microphone you want to select. So again, we'll just make sure the XI100 is our source here. We're going to hit select, and you'll see bam, 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 we just got the Hall of Mirrors effect because I'm capturing the very same screen that I am using, and my camera source and Wirecast is on. So you basically, it's seeing itself and you get this recursive effect. Now, let's close the other document. And we're going to open this one and we'll start streaming. Now, what I did there was I passed that information to the other document, but this document doesn't have that streaming information. So I need to grab that and implement that. So this is actually a good way, in case for whatever reason they don't automatically connect, this is how you can make sure Wirecast S is pointed at the correct publishing destination. So if you get this destination, just means, or this pop-up, it means that Wirecast S doesn't have an auto-passed information. So all you have to do is basically do the manual copy paste. So let's hit OK. And then by default it says localhost, which we know is not, that's just, Wirecast S's default state. And let's go back and grab the correct information that we need, the RTMP address. And what we can do is actually jump into configure manually, and that's going to give me everything I need. So a secondary, and you can also turn on or off secure socket layer connection. So if you want to encrypt it, basically turns it from RTMP to RTMP-S. That's your call. We're going to copy that, and I just want to make sure that does actually copy. I'm going to do Control-C, and I'm going to jump back to Wirecast S and to the output settings, and I'm going to copy and paste that information in here. And then the stream name, I'm not sure if it needs that. Let's just double check that. I think the stream name is actually already in there. So let's just delete that. And we're going to try without the stream name. Okay, here we go. I'm going to click stream. Let's see if it gets angry at me about the stream name. Looks like it needs a stream name. So let's just jump back into that. Yeah. So I'm going to go here and we'll go back and just call it my stream. Okay. And now it's happy. So you do have to have a stream name. It just looks like it doesn't matter necessarily what it is. Jumping back here, you can see that we just want to wait for, hit OK. We're going to wait for this preview to load up, and now we've got it. So don't lose heart if for whatever reason it's not finding. You still have your copy and paste options. You can manually point Wirecast S in the correct direction. Now, you may be thinking, hey, Andrew just copied and pasted an RTMP address into Wirecast S. I could probably copy and paste a Facebook RTMP address, or I could copy and paste a YouTube one, or my own Wowza server. Well, you would in fact be partly right. You could copy and paste that in there, but if you tried to stream to any other RTMP destinations, Wirecast S is smart enough to know that you are trying to get around its limitations, and it will not allow you to stream to servers that aren't the Microsoft servers. So if that thought crossed your mind, you should erase it from your mind. It will not work. Wirecast S is locked just to RTMP destinations that are specific to Microsoft. So thought I would get that out there. All right, now that we have this already configured and we're good, same thing, just start the event and people can start seeing it. Wirecast S operates just like Wirecast. So other than the fact that it auto configures itself into an auto live mode, like we're doing here, and whatever I want to click on the screen or take off the screen, I can. But if you want to go back into your live preview mode, you want to operate with the 2-up display, and maybe you want to take, your camera source and make it big, or you want to edit it, you'll notice that this is all very familiar to Wirecast users. You can do scale to fit, you can take yourself full screen, you can then move that over to the right side and change that. So you have full control, all the Wirecast options and capabilities. Similarly with your screen capture, if you wanted to jump in and point that at a specific application, so you could do set of monitors, you could do you can do an application or window. So we can configure and choose what application we want. We can point it at Chrome, and now it will only pull in the Chrome sort of browser, which is great. Although I may have slightly messed that up. Let's see if we can pull that in. Let's go back to refresh, Chrome. Should work, right? Microsoft Edge, I'm assuming I'm in Chrome, Explorer, blah, 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 WinStore, hit OK. So you should be able to point it at specific applications, although it's not liking my choice of Chrome there. I'm not quite sure why, but you know, you can explore that. But there's nothing locked off in the software, you know, in Wirecast S. With just some tiny exceptions. So you won't find Twitter messages in this because Twitter is not Microsoft, and you won't find sort of, you know, I'd say that's pretty much it as far as sort of things we've locked off. There, you'll still find virtual camera. You won't find other destinations, right? So as far as recording and streaming, it's Microsoft, and then if you add additional destinations, you'll find record to disk MP4. You won't find an MOV recording in this version of software. So these limitations are what make Wirecast S so much more affordable and cheaper. It doesn't have all the functionality and all the other destinations that Wirecast has, but it still has all the great performance capabilities, the encoding capabilities, has all of the ease of use and the editing and production switching you know, that you're used to. So in that sense, it is very much Wirecast. And then it's got this ease of use, these templates for presentations, town halls, and so forth. Okay, so let's take another pause there. We're going to take a break. If you have any questions, I'll jump back into the chat in the comments. We'll answer your questions, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the final template, which is the town hall template. And it's the most sort of production heavy and interesting and complex one, but again, very easy to use and very cool and great for what it does. I'm going to stop the stream. This time, I'll actually stop it from the Wirecast side of things, and let's see how the Microsoft platform responds. So we'll stop that stream. We'll jump back in here, and it looks like my head was in the lower corner here. And so once the data sort of stops, you can see it just kind of freezes on the last frame there. We do need to stop or end the event, just otherwise people will just see a frozen frame. Okay, so let me jump back into your questions, and then we'll come back and look at this final template. Ben is in Google Docs. Okay. So this you may want to use standard Wirecast for Google if you're a Google Docs user. Saludo, let's see, Edwin, welcome. Many companies are moving to the Google Suite. Greg confirms. We're going to, and Google, you know, it is interesting when it comes to video. YouTube may not, it doesn't have the security that you want necessarily for video. So it'd be interesting to see how Google, if they adapt or do some sort of product like Microsoft Stream, but specifically aimed at the corporate market, and sort of with the security and the publishing that this offers. I'd say it's definitely more advanced, and I think admins, IT admins would be a little more comfortable with video in Microsoft Stream than they would on YouTube at this point. Coming back and talking to, got 700 subs on his last stream. Astronomy, nice job, Astronomy Live. Congrats. Luis Salgado Clara, have you tried going back to version 9? See if it still works there. Out of interest, I noticed the Wirecast S link has an audio device compatibility matrix. Might be a useful resource. Okay, good comment. I assume you're talking about the devices on Wirecast S, which we can pull up if you have questions about that. Greg's question, it would be cool to have a button in Wirecast to stop-start events, distinct from start-stop RTMP sending. Greg, I'm a little unclear on that. Start-stop events. Are you referring to, like, as Microsoft has set it up, the publishing of live events, the creating and starting of live events? Because I think that's going to be platform specific, but maybe you can elaborate and I can come back and we can chat about that. Okay, let's take a look at the final template and then we'll close out for today. So, last thing, we're going to jump back into our Microsoft Stream account. We are going to refresh the page. We're going to jump in and create a new live event. We're going to call this the Town Hall Test. Town Hall Test. And we're just going to skip through here. We're going to do the encoder live now. And let's do a publish. Now, actually, let's pick a different one. Let's jump in and we're going to select at a specific date and time. We're going to choose today and we're going to choose, let's see, it's 3:15 right now, roughly. So let's start it at, see if we can officially start it at 3:30 a.m. Let's go to PM here. 3:30 p.m. Okay, that'll give us enough time. We're going to try to force it to go early. So I just want to try that first. We're going to go 4:30, 8:30, boom, we're good. Let's hit save. And we'll also add another variable here. We aren't going to publish now. We're just going to set it up as if it was going to. All right, so it's supposed to start today at 3:30 p.m. That's in 15 minutes. We're going to jump back to Wirecast S. This time, I'm going to close the current Wirecast S document. I'm not going to save it. And that actually will just quit the program, so then we're good there. We are going to start setup. So everything's ready there. And now we're going to click the launch encoder button down, or link down at the bottom of the screen here as soon as it says it's ready. And while we're waiting, Steven or Stefan, hello. And we've got, all right, we're ready to connect your encoder. So we're going to hit the launch button, open Wirecast S. We can actually skip that every time. It's going to launch the program. Hit next. We're going to now select the final template, Town Hall. By the way, recent documents, didn't mention this before, but we have recent documents. And we'll throw in another variable. We're going to do the automatically start streaming. We're going to hit next. So here's the Town Hall one. Is pretty cool. So this assumes that there's a presenter. In this case, I'm my own presenter. And my title is Wirecast S Guy. And you can even add a cool logo. I'm not sure if I even have a logo on this computer, but that's okay. Let's jump over to Chrome real fast. And let's just grab this logo. And now let's jump back to Wirecast S and go to the desktop. And we're going to grab that logo. Okay, we select our screen. So so it has a presenter with a title and a lower third. It's got a screen capture. Choose whether you want audio. And then again, camera, microphone. That should look familiar to you. Finally, I will automatically start streaming. Here we go. Next. Launches. This time, up in the corner here, you can see it is automatically streaming. It's found the Town Hall event that I created in Microsoft Stream in Office 365. And I could add a recording or start recording if I wanted. But what's cool is automatically this slate came up saying the Town Hall is starting soon. Let's jump back and see what we see on stream. Okay. You're ready to go live. Boom. Start event. So I can actually start eventing, and I haven't even published it yet. So this is cool because we can manually override the time. We have it set for 3:30, but if we want to go live early, we could go live right now. Now, that is still going to be a slate card, so we could have a timer counting down. So we could actually be live with our live stream 10 minutes prior, or 15 minutes, or 20 minutes prior. And at this time, I'm not aware of the time limit. If Microsoft has a current 4-hour, 5-hour, originally when streaming platforms begin, they sometimes start with a certain amount of time limit. Because this is a corporate service, it's run on Azure, they've figured out live streaming a long time ago. There may not be a total limit. I will look into that, and I'll put it on a frequently asked questions that I'm working on for the Wirecast S page. So I'll put it up there if I find something out. We're just going to start the event, and then this card is going to be live, and all of that we're doing in Wirecast S. So now you'll notice here, and I wish I could zoom in, but I'm on Windows right here, so I can't do my standard sort of zoom in on the UI, but maybe I can actually up the size here. You'll notice that the layer system is already sort of set out and configured here. We have our audio on the 4th layer. We have our different sources here. We've got the screen capture. We've got the camera, so the presenter camera. And then we have the lower third of the presenter. And again, we're in auto live mode, so whatever I click on goes live, and here's our logo at the upper right corner. So pretty cool. You can have a whole town hall talk. What you won't find here is a picture-in-picture. So, you know, the presenter in the corner, similar to how you see me now, you won't see a presenter in the corner with the presentation or screen capture in the thing. But of course, if you know Wirecast, it's really easy to do that, right? So we can duplicate any of these shots. And I'm just going to actually, I hit the wrong one. Duplicate shot. And that's going to do a copy of the screen capture. And then if I double click that, I can add as another source just the XI100 HDMI video. Hit add. And then I can, in my preview window, it pops in, and I can actually lower that in the lower right corner and make it small. So that's basically it. I now have a new shot that's got my picture-in-picture, and I can take that over to the live window. So now I've got all the different sources that I may want, and I can operate them, and I can go back to this live only. I can take off the logo, take it on, just like you would normally operate the software. Pretty cool, pretty easy to use. I would assume that most of you would want to, would want that picture-in-picture shot of the lower right corner presenter. People like to see the face if they're presenting slides, but you'll need to sort of move that and arrange that, or as you want, because there's no way to know exactly what people's slides look like. And that did trigger another thought, but I can't think of it at the moment, so I'm going to stop there. It looks like live event's still going. Oh, it was audio. So you'll notice actually by default the audio is not live. So you will need to make sure you bring that audio source in, and otherwise you'll forget that the camera by itself does not have audio added as a source. Audio is sitting here on the 4th layer. Again, this is to make things really simple and understandable for the first-time user of Wirecast S. And those of you who've used Wirecast know that you can tuck audio in any source, in any shot, on any layer. But if you've never used it before, I think it makes it really obvious that there's a big treble clef picture shot and there's no audio, and everyone's like, what do I click? Just click the audio and it'll go live and you'll have audio. So as long as you selected a source when you configured the template back at the beginning when you were setting up Wirecast S, and you selected an audio source that had actual audio, then you're fine, right? But of course, if you want to add music for your slate, you can do the same thing by adding a media file and selecting an MP3 or a video. All that stuff is totally available. You can customize these town hall presentations just the way you want. You're not locked into this. This is just really that initial setup and configuration, and I even spelled my name wrong. That's awesome. Just so to give you something to start with. And then of course, what's nice is it has that town hall thing, starting soon. So you can start communicating with your corporate network across Microsoft Stream. By the way, if you use Google Docs and you use the G Suite for your business, I know I was mentioning that YouTube may not be where you want to stream or list all of your video, right? For your corporate network, or your organization's security manager may not like that option. Well, Microsoft Stream is available in and of itself. So I think you can subscribe just to Microsoft Stream. So you could use G Suite for all of your collaboration and productivity, and then you could use Microsoft Stream for sort of a secure, closed, private network. So that is, I think there's no reason why you couldn't use Microsoft Stream exclusively for your video and video communications and all security and all that stuff. So keep that in mind, I think, if you are looking for an enterprise video solution. That now with, I think, live streaming, Microsoft Stream really has checked all the boxes. Okay, that concludes our demonstration of Wirecast S for Microsoft Office 365 and Microsoft Stream. I'd be happy to take your questions now for just a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap up for today on our live stream. So, will Title Live be compatible with Wirecast S? Yes, it will. So you can absolutely use Title Live with Wirecast S. You will not get a free copy of Title Live with Wirecast S subscriptions, but you can use your existing copy if you already own it. It will work just fine with Wirecast S. Great question. Congrats to Astronomy Live on hitting 1,000 subscribers. That is awesome, by the way. Send us a live stream. We would love to feature you on the Stream of the Week. All right. Hey, Andrew, can I get in contact with you or your team? Yes, you can. You can send us an email or tweet at us on tweet at us. You can send an email to Andrew Haley at telestream.net. I think that is correct. You can also tweet or reach out to us on Facebook. You can also send an email to sales@telestream.net, and they will forward emails to us and the marketing department. I don't think we have a marketing email address at the moment. We used to have one, but I'm not sure if it still works. So those would be your best options. And yeah, or just leave a comment or reach out to me or message me on Facebook or something like that. Okay. Guys, I think that's it. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for the great questions. Greg, last question. Does it have the same templates that are in the normal Wirecast S for other stuff? Yes, it does. So same way you access your templates. You can add shots, new shot, hit add, and then you can change the templates to however you want, side by side, full screen, the rest of it. So it does have, we did not close that off. Again, if you want to get notified, oh yeah, next week's episode is going to be with Mike Russell. We're going to be talking about audio part 2. Mike was so great the first time around. We didn't even get a chance to talk about all the other cool stuff, that's possible with audio if you're serious about it. And so we'll be having him back on to discuss a lot more. If you want to catch part 1 of that interview, it's from several episodes back. So you'll want to go through the archives and watch that before next Thursday. That'll be this September 6th. Mike Russell, audio, professional audio part 2. And then on the 13th, we'll be bringing on Jeffrey Fitzgerald, and we'll be talking about business and marketing and a few more topics. Stay tuned. You can get notified at the telestream.net/WirecastLive, and we'll send out the show cards and show notes and information as soon as they're ready. And I want to say thanks to you, the viewers, and thanks to our partners for making this show possible. Technology partners. Wirecast works inside a large ecosystem, and these are some of the other people and companies in that ecosystem. So thanks to all of them, and I will see you next week, same time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, here on Facebook and YouTube for another great episode of Wirecast Live. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this introduction to Wirecast S and Microsoft Office 365 and Microsoft Stream. Some really cool stuff going on over there at Microsoft, and we are proud to be a part of it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.